Most people think they know Omega, they picture the Speedmaster, maybe the Seamaster, and they stop there. But here's what the watch community isn't saying out loud. Omega's 2026 lineup contains some of the most technically credible, emotionally compelling, and flat-out underrated timepieces in the entire luxury segment. And the watches getting the least attention might be the most worth your money. Today we're counting down the 10 Omega watches worth buying in 2026, from a dive watch engineered to survive the deepest place on Earth, to a dress watch so quietly confident it doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Stick around to number 1, because it's not what anyone on this list expected, and it's going to change how you think about what Omega actually is. Let's get into it. Number 10. Omega Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch. This is the watch that earned its legend, not through marketing, not through celebrity endorsements, through a NASA certification process that eliminated nearly every other watch on the planet. The Speedmaster Professional is the only watch ever qualified for extravehicular activity, meaning it went to the moon strapped to an astronaut's wrist during a spacewalk. That qualification required surviving thermal shocks between 18 degrees C and plus or 93 degrees C, vacuum conditions, high humidity, and shock forces that would destroy a conventional watch instantly. Every other candidate failed. The Speedmaster didn't. The 42mm stainless steel case is instantly recognizable. Broad arrow hands, tachymeter bezel, black dial with 3 chronograph subdials that haven't changed meaningfully since 1969. That's not stagnation. That's confidence in a design that has already proven itself under conditions no other timepiece will ever face. Inside beats the hand-wound caliber 3861, a master chronometer certified movement with a 50-hour power reserve and magnetic resistance to 15,000 Gauss. It requires daily winding. For the right person, that daily ritual is the whole point. The Moonwatch is for someone who wants history on their wrist, not a replica of it, but the real thing, still in production, still uncompromised. Price, approximately $7,400. Number 9. Omega de Ville Trésor. In 2026, the watch market is saturated with sports cases, ceramic bezels, and rubber straps. The de Ville Trésor is Omega's deliberate answer to all of it, and it's the most overlooked reference in the entire collection. Trésor means treasure in French, and this watch earns that name through restraint, not spectacle. The 40mm stainless steel case is slim, elegant, and engineered to disappear under a suit sleeve with complete effortlessness. The silver dial features applied hour markers, and Dauphine hands finished to a standard that most Swiss dress watch brands charge significantly more to achieve. There is nothing unnecessary here. And that discipline is exactly what makes it exceptional. The case back opens to reveal the master chronometer caliber 8511, a hand-wound movement with exquisite Côte de Genève finishing, perlage on the base plate, and a blued screw that catches the light like a detail only a watchmaker would notice. The 55-hour power reserve is generous for a hand-wound dress movement. The META certification means it's been independently validated for accuracy and magnetic resistance, technical standards most dress watch movements never face. The Trésor will not get noticed at a gym or on a hiking trail. It will be the watch someone leans across a dinner table to look at more closely. That's its entire purpose, and it delivers. Price, approximately $9,800. Number 8. Omega Seamaster Ultra Deep 6000M. Here's the uncomfortable truth about dive watches in 2026. Most of them will never touch salt water. They're bought for aesthetics, not depth ratings. This watch is the exception, and it was built to prove a point that no other watch in the world can make. The Seamaster Ultra Deep 6000M was developed alongside the deep sea explorers who reached the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the deepest point on Earth, nearly 11,000 meters down. The reference version Omega sent on that expedition survived those depths. The production model you can buy today is rated to 6,000 meters. To put that in perspective, the Rolex Sea Dweller, a watch celebrated for its extreme depth rating, is rated to 1,220 meters. The Ultra Deep is rated to nearly 5 times that. The 45.5mm Grade 2 titanium case houses the Co-Axial master chronometer caliber 8912, delivering a 60-hour power reserve with Meta-certified precision and magnetic resistance that would embarrass most Swiss movements twice its price. The unidirectional rotating bezel uses Omega's liquid metal insert, a patented material harder than conventional ceramics, resistant to scratching in ways that ceramics simply isn't. Number 7. Omega Speedmaster. Dark Side of the Moon. Apollo 8. Most limited editions are marketing exercises dressed up as collectibles. The dark side of the moon. Apollo 8 is something genuinely different, and most buyers still underestimate what it represents. Apollo 8 was the first crewed spacecraft to orbit the moon. On Christmas Eve 1968, astronaut William Anders looked out the window and took the photograph known as Earthrise, humanity seeing its own planet from another world for the first time. The Omega Speedmaster, Dark Side of the Moon, Apollo 8 commemorates that mission, and it does so with materials and finishing that match the seriousness of the moment. The 4425 mm case is crafted from black zirconia ceramic, the same material used across the entire Dark Side of the Moon family, but here finished with a deep matte texture that absorbs light rather than reflecting it. The dial is a direct reference to the photograph. Earth rendered in full-color enamel on the left side of the dial, the darkness of space occupying the right. The contrast is striking. The craftsmanship behind the enamel work is exceptional. Inside runs the hand-wound caliber 1869, a movement whose architecture deliberately echoes the original Speedmaster movements of the Apollo era. The 60-hour power reserve is generous for a hand-wound chronograph. The Hesalite crystal over the dial is period-correct and intentional. Number 6. Omega Seamaster. Diver 300 Nopron James Bond. 60th anniversary. There are dozens of James Bond watch collaborations in the world. Most of them are cosmetic exercises, a familiar dial dressed in a new colorway to sell to fans. This is not that. The Seamaster Diver 300 Emmy has been Bond's watch since 1995, and the 60th anniversary edition doesn't just celebrate that association, it builds on it with technical and design choices that would stand on their own merits even without the Bond connection. The 42mm stainless steel case features a dark gray ceramic dial with a wave pattern, paired with a NATO strap that references Bond's field-ready aesthetic directly. But the standout detail is the tritium lume applied indices, a deliberate callback to the radium lume dials of 1960s dive watches, now rendered safely and with extraordinary luminous intensity. In darkness, this watch glows in a way that modern superluminova simply doesn't replicate. Water resistance sits at 300 meters with a helium escape valve for saturation diving. The Co-Axial Master Chronometer caliber 8806 delivers a 55-hour power reserve with Meta certification. The caseback features an engraved design referencing Bond iconography without being obvious about it, the kind of detail that rewards the person who turns the watch over. Number 5. Omega Speedmaster. The word Speedmaster covers a lot of ground in Omega's lineup, but when watch enthusiasts simply say, the Speedmaster, no qualifier, no suffix, they mean this one, the core reference, the one that started everything. The Speedmaster as a concept launched in 1957 as a purpose-built racing chronograph. Its tachymeter bezel, broad arrow hands, and 3-register chronograph layout were designed for trackside timing. Within a decade, it had been chosen for the Apollo program. The transformation from motorsport tool to spaceflight instrument is one of the most remarkable use case pivots in the history of watchmaking. The modern reference continues that dual identity. The 38mm case is more modest than the Moonwatch's 42mm, making it exceptional for wearers who find the Professional slightly oversized. The dial architecture, 3 registers, tachymeter graduation, luminous indices, is immediately identifiable as a Speedmaster without needing a NASA story to justify it. The caliber 3220 is a C. Number 4. Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra Worldtimer. Most world time watches are engineering statements that wear like engineering statements, thick, complex, visually overwhelming. The Aqua Terra Worldtimer is Omega solving that problem, and most of the watch community hasn't caught up to it yet. The 43mm stainless steel case is slim for a complication of this scope. The Worldtimer displays all 24 time zones simultaneously, with city names printed on the rotating flange ring surrounding the dial. Adjusting the time zones requires only a push of the crown. The entire display rotates, city names and all, without disrupting the local time display. It is one of the most intuitive world time implementations in the market at this price point. The dial itself uses the Aqua Terra's signature horizontal wave pattern as a background, giving it visual depth without competing with the complexity of the Worldtimer function. In blue or silver, it reads cleanly despite carrying more information than most watch dials attempt. Inside runs the Co-Axial master chronometer caliber 8939, a self-winding movement with 60 hours of power reserve, METAS certification, and 150 meters of water resistance. This is a travel complication with genuine daily wearability and real technical substance underneath it. For someone who lives across time zones and wants a single watch that handles that complexity without screaming about it, the Aqua Terra Worldtimer is one of the smartest purchases Omega makes in 2026. Price, approximately $2,800. Number 3. Omega Seamaster Planet. Ocean 600 NEM. The Seamaster Planet Ocean doesn't get the attention the Submariner gets. That is the watch world's consistent blind spot, and anyone who acts on it is getting the better end of the deal. The Planet Ocean, 600 MA in stainless steel, is a 43.5mm professional diver with 600 meters of water resistance, double the Submariner's specification. The unidirectional rotating bezel features Omega's liquid metal insert, a patented material harder than conventional ceramic and more resistant to the kind of edge chipping that ceramic bezels are genuinely susceptible to. The orange or black color options give the dial a presence that is distinctly purposeful rather than decorative. The Co-Axial master chronometer caliber 8900 inside is independently certified by METAS to maintain accuracy within 0 to +5 seconds per day across the full range of daily conditions. Magnetic resistance extends to 15,000 Gauss, a specification that matters in the modern world, where magnetic fields from phones, clasps, and electronics affect conventional movements constantly. Number 2. Omega Constellation. Here's what gets consistently missed about the Constellation. It was Omega's prestige reference long before the Seamaster had a James Bond campaign or the Speedmaster had a moon landing. Introduced in 1952 to mark Omega's chronometer achievements, the Constellation was the watch that serious collectors, diplomats, and executives wore when they wanted Omega at its most refined. The distinctive claws on the case, the integrated lugs that grip the dial from above, are as recognizable to watch enthusiasts as the Datejust Cyclops lens. The Constellation has never followed a trend because it set one first. The modern Constellation in 39mm steel features the Co-Axial master chronometer caliber 8700 series, delivering METAS-certified precision, 55-hour power reserve, and magnetic resistance that the original 1952 version could never have offered. The dial options range from silver with applied indices to diamond set configurations that shift the watch into luxury territory without abandoning its disciplined proportions. What makes the Constellation compelling in 2026 is its position in the market. It carries genuine heritage, technical credibility, and instantly recognizable design at a price point that undercuts what less historically significant watches charge for less. It is, in the most literal sense, undervalued. For someone who wants a dress-capable daily watch with real Omega DNA and a story that stretches back over 70 years, the Constellation delivers on every level. Price, approximately $7,800. Number 1. Omega de Ville Prestige. No one puts a de Ville Prestige at number 1, and that's exactly why it belongs here. Watch rankings in 2026 are dominated by tool watches, divers, chronographs, GMT complications, wrist presence, bezel inserts, power reserve figures. The de Ville Prestige ignores every single one of those criteria. It is not competing in those categories. It is doing something that almost no watch in the modern luxury segment still attempts with complete conviction. It is beautiful, and only beautiful, and it refuses to apologize for that. The 39.5mm stainless steel case is slim enough to slip under any shirt cuff and refined enough to hold the gaze at a formal dinner. The dial, available in white, silver, or champagne, features a lacquered finish that catches light differently depending on the angle, a quality that photographs cannot fully capture. The applied hour markers are polished to a level of clarity that rewards close examination. The Dauphine hands sweep with a weight and precision that feel deliberate, not mechanical. Underneath lies the Co-Axial Master Chronometer caliber 8700, which means this is not a decorator's movement dropped into a pretty case. It is Meta's certified, magnetically resistant to 15,000 Gauss, and accurate to within 0 to +5 seconds per day under independently verified testing. The finishing inside matches the finishing outside. This is a watch that takes the internal as seriously as the external.